is currently the last week of November, and basically we are on our last quest for the Dungeons and Book Dragons Readathon. I'm working on finishing my Quest 6 book, and I am doing From Below by Darcy Coates. I started this at the end of October, and then I ended up going and soft DNFing it just so I could restart it, since I only got it around page 23. And I wanted to restart it for the Dungeons and Book Dragons Readathon because you had to start the book in November for it to count. And so I'm rereading it again. It works for Quest 6 because there has to be a villain, a monster, or I forgot what else involved. But basically, from the premise of this book, it kind of seems like there's a monster lurking below. So because of that reason, I am going to use this for my book choice. Nuggy's also in the car with me. We are waiting for Charles to pick up some wet food for Nugs, and I just figured it would be good to get out of the house and try to do some reading. I pre-recorded a few videos for Bookmas for December, and basically I am doing a mixture of Bookmas as well as Vlogmas because that seemed to be what people were voting for. So I'm doing a mix of that, which should be fun. And yeah, I figured doing a vlog to basically wrap up the end of the reading month and how my journey went for the Dungeons and Book Dragons Readathon. I have been awful at trying to document my reading journey with that because I did do, I think, Quest 1 and 2 at the beginning of the month, and then I just got so zoned in on reading. Also, the reason why like my camera's kind of going all over the place, I'm not used to filming in public, and the parking lot is so busy, so I don't want people to really notice me. I don't want to be perceived right now. But yeah, that's how things are going so far. I'm at page 56 in the book and don't really have a good understanding of too much that is going on because they're kind of setting the stage, letting us know who is in charge of what on the team, and they just went and dove into the water. However, it seems that one person that is left behind is going through people's stuff on board, and they found a journal that doesn't have the best stuff in there. It's very cryptic and kind of gives the reader the idea that someone could be dangerous that is already underwater and is a part of that crew. We'll see how it goes. I'm nervous for this book. I've heard that it does have a lot of claustrophobia. Why can't I say that word? It has a lot of those vibes where you're in tight spaces and might be scared of that type of thing. But I don't really have that kind of fear. If anything, am more scared of dark spaces, underwater, and shapes that could be sharks. So that's probably what I'm nervous of the most in this book. I'll check in again and let you know how things go. I think I'm gonna record on and off this week just because I'm off, and let you know how things go for this remaining bit of the readathon. But wish me luck. I'm hoping to get as much points as I can because I have not used a lot of my spell cards, and I think I have at least 4 or 5 to use. So I need to read at least 4 or 5 books so I can use them all up and they don't go to waste. Hello everyone. So basically we are, I think, 3 days away from the end of the month. Today is Friday the 28th, and then we have Saturday and Sunday. I have not finished my main quest yet for quest number 6. So I'm hoping to finish From Below by Darcy Coates. I'm only this far of the way through so far. I'm on page 142, so I'm hoping to kind of buckle down and focus on reading this. We do have a D&D session tonight, and I am really wanting to also play a little bit of Genshin Impact as well. So I'm gonna give myself some time to go and read because I've just been dilly-dallying through a bunch of different things and just haven't really been focused on wanting to read, but I'd like to finish this and also tackle another one of my books from Defend the TBR. I have not read all of my books that I had picked out, which is totally fine because some of them worked for certain prompts and then some of them didn't really work at all. And I really wanted to read books that would be easy choices for each of those. So I need to read that, and then I also need to do some more planning for booktube and Bookmas. I think I have at least 5 videos prepped now, and for whatever bizarre reason, I was thinking I was going to do every single day up until Christmas, which is a pretty hefty goal. So I don't know entirely if that will be doable or not, and I do have a bunch of different video options planned. Some of these I can't exactly prep until the month starts. But anyway, I'm babbling because I'm procrastinating starting this, so I'm gonna go and buckle down and work on reading. Hello, so just checking in. I've done a few hours of reading and honestly, I just feel like I'm so burnt out from reading, or I'm possibly not in the mood to read this book. Maybe it's a little bit of both. So I'm currently on chapter 31, page 232 in From Below. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch over to doing a little bit of it in audiobook form. I'd really like to play some Genshin before our D&D session, so I think that's kind of the good way to give my brain a little bit of a brain break. So I'm just gonna go and do some of my dailies and everything and listen to From Below using Everend. I still had a credit left, so I decided to use it up for this before I decrease my plan to just 1 credit a month, because sometimes it's so easy to use my credits all in 1 month, and then other times I just only need 1 credit because I'm not really in the audiobook mood. And I think that's what I'm gonna probably do for December, just because I'm not really in the mood for audiobooks right now either. And I think it's just because I've read I think at least 10 books in the month of November so far, and that is way more books than I usually consume in 1 month, which I'm proud of myself, but also shows how strongly I need a little bit of a brain break from books and just decompressing with some video games and everything. Oh, I'm gonna lean down a little bit. But so far I'm liking From Below. It's probably not my favorite Darcy Coates book so far, and that partially could be because it deals with underwater exploration, and usually with water type of things I'm okay with it, but tend to get a little bit more nervous, especially if it could potentially have sharks in it, because sharks are something that I'm deeply terrified of. But it doesn't seem to be that, because they are deep down below, to the point where there's not going to be any life, or at least any marine life there. Hi, Kiko. But there's not going to be any marine life there, but right now it kind of seems like there's some paranormal pieces. Yes, thank you, Kiko. And it seems like things are kind of getting more intense. The crew seems to be a little bit trapped in this ship called the Arcadia, and they split up because they wanted to go and cover more ground quickly. However, because they've split up, they're kind of learning that I forgot what it's called, their underwater line that will help them retrace their steps has been severed, and they're not sure if it was cut or just came loose and wasn't tied correctly. So there's that, but also one of the groups that split up, they were in the cargo hold, and some stuff fell, and so now they have to find a different way out. And they all decided that it's going to be the end of their trip, and they're trying to figure out a way to go and meet up but also get back to the surface, because depending on how far you dive, there has to be decompression time, because if you go to the surface too quickly, it's not great. Your body's going to go and implode on itself because of all the pressure. So they have to have decompression time, which means they also need to make sure they have enough oxygen reserved. And so there's just a bunch of things. The stakes are incredibly high for this book, But like I said, I want to go and listen to the audiobook, so I'm probably just going to do tandem reading for this. So hopefully listen to a couple of chapters on the audiobook while I go and play some Genshin, and then I'll go and pick up tomorrow with some more reading. This is about how far I am right now. And I'm also doing some laundry too before the D&D session starts. Hi, Kiko. Hi. Kiko's been very, very clingy today. But that is the current check-in. I'm really hoping to go and finish this book soon because today is Friday. It is almost 5 p.m. and I'd really like to sneak in another book. I'm thinking I might do Fall I Want, which is a romance book. But I think that might be a great palate cleanser, and is also a book that I was supposed to read in October and it carried over to November because that was the book that Charles picked for me. So wish me luck, fingers crossed, and I will check in with you later. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. So last night's D&D session went a little bit late, or I guess it started late, so it ran late. So I was a little bit sleepy by the end of it, and honestly took a hot minute to even fall asleep last night. So yeah, 2 cups of caffeinated tea are in order for today. I am definitely making a dent in From Below. I am currently at chapter 41, page 308, and things are starting to get intense now. It's starting to get a little bit creepier, kind of like paranormal type of things. At least I'm thinking it's paranormal is going on. So with this book so far, I am a huge lover of Darcy Coates. I've been working on her backlist, but I feel like this one started out a little bit slower for me because usually with her books, I just rush through them. I devour them so quickly. But this one's been a little bit longer for me to get into, and I think part of that has to do with the fact that I'm just a little bit burnt out from reading. But now that things are picking up, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to finish this book today. My goal is to finish this for Quest 6 and then try to go and sneak in 2 more books. I'm hoping to get to Fall I Want because that book has been on 2 monthly TBRs and I haven't had the chance to get to it yet. And then I also have an audiobook for Goddess of Filth from the library, and that's around 4 hours long. So I'm pretty sure I can go and sneak that in while going and doing some other stuff. I need to make some chai spice cookies for Charles because that was their one request for our time off. Hi, Kiko. That was their one request for our time off. And we also do have some errands to go and do today. We need to go to the grocery store to pick up a few things. Charles is going to go and make some turkey wild rice soup because we have so much turkey from doing 2 Thanksgivings, one with my parents and then the other with his mom. So we're kind of turkeyed out, and they're gonna look at doing a recipe with wild rice and turkey. So that should be really nice, kind of change things up a little bit because, like I said, we're burnt out from only consuming turkey lately. And then we also need to run over to Lowe's and get a couple things there. So hopefully our errands will go quick so I can go back into reading, finish up my books, and then work on recording my December Defend the TBR episode as well as my monthly wrap up, and then work on editing some of the other videos I have pre-recorded. And we are doing 12 days of Bookmas / Vlogmas, and I don't know why I was saying we would be doing 25 for the longest time. I think like somewhere in my head I was like, yeah, that's gonna be a good decision. But I think 12 days is going to be much more feasible, and it's going to be a mixture of vlog stuff as well as book-related videos, so I hope everyone's excited for that. But I'm going to stop recording now, work on reading more because I'm so intrigued now. The group is split up, and they're currently working on their remaining dive, and one person strayed from the group, and they went and retrieved something that someone else saw in the footage. And after that, now it seems like some of these corpses, stuff is happening to them. So I want to know what happens next because it's getting intense. So I will check in with you later, potentially after we run errands, we shall see. But either way, I'll let you know what's going on. Hello, so we are back from doing our errands and I've been working on finishing up my book. I have finished From Below, and I think I'm gonna rate it around 4.25 stars. It really started off slow in the beginning and was kind of dragging for me, but then once I was getting closer to the middle-ish portion of the book, then things started picking up and it was really hard to go and put the book down. And I love Darcy Coates. She's definitely one of my favorite authors for any horror book. And I usually, aside from this book, find them fairly easy to go and zoom through. So I've just logged that book. I also decided to use one of my Druid spell cards, and I used True Resurrection, which gives us double XP. So that was really nice. I am now going to start listening to Goddess of Filth. It's around 4 hours long, and I'll be able to use this for one of the side quests. We have like a horror one that we can use. So I'm going to do that, and then tonight start reading Fall I Want. But now I'm just gonna go and relax and play some Genshin Impact while listening to this book. So wish me luck. I have so far made really good progress in my reading goal for the month because of this readathon. So that is really nice, and it's just kind of slowly getting me closer to my goal of reading 100 books for the year. I think I'm at 86 or 87 books. So we'll see how many I finish before the end of this month and how much closer I get towards my 100 book goal. Oh, she's naked.
She's not happy about it.
Yeah, but you get a new one. Hi, Nux.
That's where it has been.
Oh.
Okay, Nugget, sit. Baby girl, sit. Oh, ma'am.
Newbie and Jana.
Sit. Sit.
Look at you. You're so cute. Maggie, look at you.
Christmas,
yeah. Christmas.
A baby girl.
Yeah, now she's all festive. Hi everyone, so it is 6:46. It is the last day of November, and honestly, the last book I read was Goddess of Filth. I finished that yesterday, and then I did start reading Fall I Want, but I just was a little bit burnt out and didn't really feel like pushing myself to finish that book. I started and then I was like, no, if I do this, I'm gonna get in a reading slump. So Goddess of Filth was really amazing and also helped me go and complete a side quest, which was a goal that I had before the readathon ended. So I am really happy with that. I'm glad that I was able to get one more book in. That book was really good. It had to do with a lot of female rage while also being a coming of age story dealing with sexuality, culture, and religious trauma. It was so good, and I had no idea what to expect when I was going into reading that book because I believe I got the recommendation from either Ivy at Ivy the Geek Goddess or Bo, and I think Bo's account is Books and Bo. I'll have their accounts linked down in the description below. My brain is kind of frazzled. I've been working on editing all day because, as you know, we're doing 12 days of Bookmas, so I wanted to get that all ready and everything. But yeah, I wasn't able to go and sneak in another book. We did get another monster encounter, and this time it was really cool because it was all the teams working together to go and defeat the monster, and then the points would get split up between all the teams. So that was really cool, and I'm hopeful that everyone was able to go and do that. I was able to go and add Goddess of Filth to that for the monster encounter, and I'm proud of myself and all the reading that I was able to do, even though I wasn't able to sneak in one last book. But Honestly, it's fine. I feel like I did a great job, and all the other teams did an amazing job as well. They really kicked booty, and I have no idea which team is going to be the winner at the end of this. Maybe I'll go and add in a clip tomorrow, even though that technically would be the first day of December, but maybe I'll go... Charles is in a D&D session, but maybe I'll go and say which team won at the end of this before I start doing my next vlog. But I've loved this readathon so much, and I can't wait for it next year. I'm definitely going to go and join, and I can't wait to see what Ivy comes up with next. That is all my reading updates. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to get that one last book in, but it's okay. I'll just end up going and reading that in December. This is the last update I have for this vlog before I start the next one, so I'll talk to you in the next vlog that we do.